it's Alex, welcome to my channel and thanks for joining me for this week's Friday SEWS. I say this week's, I wasn't actually here last week. I had been sewing last week, but I'd just made copies of things that I'd already made and I thought it might be a bit dull to just come on and say, here's another version of something you've already seen before. But I've also found that since restrictions have begun to lift a little bit here in the UK, which they're going to do even more so from Monday, that I just haven't been sewing quite as much. When I started Friday SEWS, we were in lockdown, that was in January in the new year, and I just had a little bit more time. So because I don't want to make promises that I can't keep, I think I'm now going to commit to doing Friday SEWS on a fortnightly basis rather than weekly. Having said that, if I've got lots that I want to share or I've had a particularly active week, I may well pop back more frequently than that. But yeah, as I said, don't want to make promises that I can't keep. So anyway, let's get on to it because there's a bit to catch up on now. And I will start off with one of those things that I made that, as I said, was a copy of something I've made before, and that is what I'm wearing. This is now my fourth Style Arc Armidale dress. I put a tiny little bit on the length. I took a tiny little bit extra on the side seams because of a bit of weight increase, but really I did nothing different. So that's why I just thought, oh, you know, is that going to be interesting? But what is different, of course, this time is the fabric. This is, you may have, or you may remember, I showed it to you when I got my samples from the Lulou Designs Fabric Swatch Club, which is one that I have been gifted membership to, and this was one of their seasonal prints for this season, and when I saw it I knew I had to have it, and I just thought, do you know what, I love that print so much, it needs to be in something that I'm going to wear a lot, and I know I'm going to wear a lot, so hence my fourth version of this dress. I think it's a Lady McElroy. If you are a member of the Swatch Club at Lulou Designs, you get 10% off because it's one of their Swatch Club fabrics. But yeah, so this is my first cotton one rather than the others that were all viscose. But I mean, I just love it because in the winter I stick a layer under it, you know, a long sleeve top and tights. To be honest, it's a bit cold today, so I might slightly regret not having done that today. But also because it's got a higher waist, it gives me more shape than I really have because I'm quite thick in the waist. And I've now, you know, I can now sew it, you know, without thinking very much. It's pretty easy. So yeah, I really liked it. I did spend a bit of time, well, I was going to say I spent a bit of time pattern matching. That was just a figure of speech. I didn't spend too much time pattern matching down the front, because some clever person, i.e. me, had marked on the pattern from the last time I made it where that pattern matching spot is, because if you've ever done it with a shirt or anything that buttons up, you'll know it's not at the centre front, it's where, it's this line here, isn't it, where this, where this side crosses and meets this side. So I'd already marked that line on my pattern. I can always do a little demo to show you where that is. If you're interested, let me know. Otherwise I won't bother. So yeah, I'm really pleased with the pattern matching. I love the fabric. I knew when I saw the sample that this was a fabric for me. Obviously it's my kind of colouring. I love the print. Yeah, love everything about it. What more can I say? This is why I wasn't here last week, because it would have been a 30-second video. Hello, I've made the same dress again. I love it. And the other thing I made last week was another Hipployta dress, which I made for my daughter who's at uni. If you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen pictures of it yesterday. She wanted to nab mine when I made mine a few weeks ago. She liked the pattern, so I was keeping my eye out for some fabric for her. And I took a bit of a gamble because, you know, we don't always get it right when you're buying for someone else. And once the fabric got here, my older daughter seemed to think her sister would like it. Anyway, she loves it, so that's gone off to her. I really loved the label that I put in it. I saw that on Instagram probably last week from Little Rosie Cheeks. It's got such a fabulous message to send to anybody, and you know, at 19 she doesn't really want a label that says mummy made this. But I also really like the message in it. So yeah, I had to order those straight away the minute I saw them and put that in. So that was brilliant. The other thing I did when I was on the Simply Fabrics website, sort of almost alongside that fabric that I got for Grace, was this one, and I've bought this one for myself. It has been pre-washed, which is why it's perhaps not pressed as well as it could be. But yeah, this is a bit, not sort of typically me, I don't think, but my kind of colours, and I really like the print on it, and I thought it would make a great skirt. And do you remember I was talking about the patterns that I got from Fibre Mood recently, including that Alex skirt, which is a nice gathered button up skirt. I think at the top it has sewn down pleats or gathers, or they're sewn and then they kind of have a release. So I bought this. I've actually bought, if I'm really honest, bought a lot of fabric recently, so I'm not going to show it all to you because a lot of it is plains, so you'll just see them as they come. And then the other thing I ordered to go with this to make a top, so I've kind of got an outfit, came from Lulou Designs, and that's this jersey which is ribbed. This is the colour, I'm fairly sure it's called Dijon. I thought that would pick up a kind of mustardy colour in that fabric for a t-shirt, but I was also intrigued to use it because of the ribbing on it. I thought it might make just a little bit more a bit more interesting than a standard jersey t-shirt. Okay, I'm going to move on to talking about the Phoebe Flounce top and maxi skirt. So a few weeks ago I did a roundup of all the A-line patterns for skirts that you guys had brilliantly suggested when I was looking for something to use some fabric for, and in that roundup was the Phoebe maxi skirt from Pattern Union. After that video, Pattern Union got in touch with me and asked me if I would like a free copy of that pattern. No strings attached, no requirement to do anything or say anything, so I said yes please, thank you very much. So I went and had a look at their website and reminded myself of it, and it's part of the Phoebe collection. The core pattern within that is a jumpsuit, which is a free pattern. I think you probably have to subscribe to their newsletter. It's a wide leg jumpsuit with a short sleeved halter neck. Yeah, I think it's a halter neck, or maybe it's one of those that wraps round, sort of crosses over. Anyway, go have a look. Free pattern with the halter neck. And then there are a collection of other patterns. Some are tops and some bottoms, and they're all designed to work individually as garments in their own right, but also to be combined. So there are some flares, there are some dungarees, there's a pinafore dress, and there are different tops. There's a sheared top, and what else is there? And the flounce, which is the one I decided to get. So I went onto their website and I bought the flounce top and thought I would see how they combined and see how the whole thing would work. I was attracted to the flounce top because I thought it would be great for the summer. It does have, it's short sleeved. It does have a flounce, like the name would imply, that's set into a princess line. I decided not to go for that option. I'm not really a very flouncy kind of person, so I went for the plain version, and it has bias binding down the front with rouleau loops, and you can either, if you make it as a garment on its own, you can either attach it to elastic, or you can have it, I don't know why I'm flashing at you, but you can have it open up just like a blouse front, really, I guess. So I really was very interested to see how it would all work. They have quite a good size range. They go from a size 6 to a 20. I'm not sure if that's a UK 20 or a European or US, which might mean a 22 if you're in the UK. Not actually sure where they're based. But they also have, which is brilliant, they have 3 different sets of cup sizes. So the first set I think is A to C, which is obviously where I am. But there's also D to E and E to F. Oh, I'm done, I've made a note. D to E and then F to G, that's it. So if you are somebody with a bigger bust, you've got a lot of options there. So I thought that was really good. The skirt pattern itself, which is the maxi skirt, has two options. It has a straight A-line skirt, or it has a skirt with two tiers. So in some ways it is a bit similar to the olive skirt that I recently did the pattern testing for Therata Davis, but that one has a slight dipped hem, and that has two tiers, different pockets. This has three tiers and the pockets are different, yeah. So it also comes with back pockets, but because of the fabric I chose, I didn't use the back pockets. I just did the side versions, and I just went for the straightforward plain A-line skirt rather than tiers. I was just keeping it simple. So the fabric that I chose may not have been the best choice. Anyway, I'll see what you think later. I showed you this recently-ish. It's a double gauze, and this is a very, very new colour for me. Yeah, I said before, apparently, according to my colour chart, this sort of salmony pink is supposed to work for me, and yeah, not a colour I've really ever worn before, but I thought I'd give it a go. I bought it from TFG Fabrics. They were having a sale, so it was pretty inexpensive. Lovely and soft double gauze. I think this is probably the second time I've sewn with it. This one has got quite a lot of texture to it. It's got quite a lot of, undulations. So I made sure when I cut it out to keep those as they are, not to press them out and make it flat, because when I wear it, I want that texture to remain. And actually, it wasn't too tricky to do. And the same with sewing it. I still sewed it. The pressure from my foot, and I have got an integrated walking foot on my faff, the pressure from the foot meant that sewing it, even with its texture, was actually fairly straightforward. I didn't get any tucks or, little pinches or anything like that. So it was quite nice and easy to sew. And obviously it's lovely and light to wear, not particularly drapey, but on a really hot summer's day, if we ever get one, it's going to be an absolute joy to wear. So I think at this point I'm going to disappear into the drum room and put it on. It's not 100% yet, so there are some tweaks. So I'll put it on and we'll go from there. Okay, so first things first, I haven't hemmed it, and you'll see it's pretty long unhemmed. So I'm 5'7", and that's about as long as you want without dragging on the ground. And as you know, or you may know, I really like my skirts long, but I would probably have this more like ankle length, just a little bit shorter. I'm considering, the reason I've not done it is I'm considering whether to fray the hem. But I think I might just see how that looks first, in the knowledge that if I don't like it, I can always turn it up. Yeah, I might have a little bit of a play with that, so I'm not 100% sure. So, as I said, there are a few tweaks yet, and they're really to do with sizing, I think. So what it says is that if you're combining two of the garments, a top and a bottom, to pick the size category that you're in according to whichever is largest between your bust and your waist. As always with me, it's going to be the waist. So my waist measurement actually put me between a size 14 and a size 16, and there are no finished garment measurements. So I had no way of seeing what that would actually mean, which is really frustrating. So I took a gamble and I went for the size 14 rather than 16, because the size 16 would have been on the bust 2 sizes higher than my bust measurement. So I figured I'd kind of compromise and go for the 14, which has been fine in terms of the skirt. That's absolutely fine. But I do think that in terms of the top, I would have been better off with a size 12 top, because it's a bit low. If I have my shoulder seams on my shoulders, it's a bit low. I mean, I'm getting bra poking through the top here. And I would be worried, if I was out and about leaning down and stuff, you'd just get a whole load of bra in your face. And if you look at the sleeves, I'm sort of at the armholes, I'm kind of poking out. Now, actually, who stands like that? Nobody. So I could probably get away with it, and maybe what I'll do for the sake of just getting this version up to speed is I may just pinch a little bit off the shoulder seams, but I don't want to pinch too much off because I like it having the sort of, you know, drapey bit over the elastic waist. So yeah, that's a bit of a niggle, I would say, as it would have been really nice to have some finished garment measurements. However, the instructions in general I really, really like. There are 2 body lengths in terms of the top, and it does say, you know, just because you might be short-waisted, it doesn't mean say you can't go for the long-waisted version and vice versa. Really nice information in there. I wasn't sure which one to go for because I wasn't really sure whether I was short-waisted or long-waisted. So I had on Google and I found a style blog website. Hold on, I've got a note of it. What is it called? I can't find it. Anyway, I'll put it below. That suggested that the way to tell that was to measure using your hands. So use your hand under your boobs, and how many hands it is to your waist dictates whether you're short-waisted or long-waisted. So if you're 2 hands between under boob and waist, that means you're about balanced. If you're less than that, then you're short-waisted. I would suggest I'm short-waisted. And if you're more than that, if you're 3 hands between under boob and waist, then you're long-waisted. So I was like, okay, short-waisted, I'll go for that option. Which again, I was a little bit unsure of because I knew I wanted it to sort of, yeah, drape over the elastic. But I'm quite happy with that. I'm glad I didn't go for the long-waisted version. I think it would have been too much billowiness. But nice to have those 2 options, and again, good if you were making it as an individual garment. I did struggle with the bias binding, not the ties so much. I found those to be fairly straightforward, but trying to, I'm flashing my bra here, trying to get the binding right here with it being double gauze was a bit of a mare, and it is not my neatest sewing by any means. But I'm hoping, because of the nature of the fabric being quite textured and not particularly sort of sharp and crisp, that I will get away with it. I didn't manage to get my rouleau loops. Not convinced they're looking brilliant in this fabric. I didn't manage to get them made out of tubes. I ended up doing the method where you fold your fabric over, because when I made them out of tubes, they were just too big and chunky. But I think that's my getting wrong fabric choice, really. So I think that's down to me. Because I didn't enjoy the bias binding, I have to say I cheated when it came to the armholes. They were supposed to have bias binding around the arms, and I didn't. I just double turned it under. I think there was enough movement in double gauze to be able to get away with doing that. I don't think it's stretched them out or done anything peculiar there. I think the bagginess is just because I needed a size down. But overall, really happy with it. I'll get that right, and I think I would, without a shadow of a doubt, make both garments again separately as well as together. I think the top would make a really nice blouse. I keep doing this. I think the top would make a really nice summer blouse. I think that'd be great. Probably not in a double gauze though. The instructions were really good. They are a kind of medium level of instruction. They're not mega hand-holdy, but they're certainly not sparse. They give you all the information you need there. Then, you know, it's not like a style arc or anything like that. And they have some really nice encouragement and extra information about, you know, considering your fabrics, and a lot of encouragement to hack and to make the pattern your own and to look at your own measurements and all of that kind of stuff. So you can tell that they've been written by somebody who's really into sewing. So I would definitely recommend going and having a look. You could maybe start off with the free jumpsuit and see where you go from there. As I say, I'm definitely going to make them both again, particularly the top. And yeah, still not sure about whether to hem or to fray. The more I'm looking, the more I'm thinking I won't fray it actually. I think that maybe works better on a shorter length. I did really enjoy making this. It's such a lovely fabric to work with, double gauze, and yeah, it's always nice to use a different pattern company. And everyone does things slightly differently, don't they? I did use French seams on this, by the way, with it being double gauze, because I just thought It's quite an open weave, isn't it? And it's not the strongest of fabric at the seams. So yeah, I like doing French seams. That's always quite good fun. The other thing I made recently, which again, if you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen, was my shacket for Minerva. There's a blog post up on their website. It's one of those, you know, you get the gifted fabric. It was free in return for a blog post. I had shared with all of you that I was struggling to get that Fibre Mood rear shirt or shacket pattern, and in the end what I did was I used the Ottoline pattern from Merchant and Mills. Obviously it doesn't really, do you know what, I feel a bit like I've gone somewhere and my boyfriend's given me his jacket to wear. Not that I've had a boyfriend for a very long time. I've lost my train of thought. Merchant and Mills Ottoline jacket, that's where I was. Yeah, so it's the Merchant and Mills Ottoline jacket, just with a little, what is that? Dog treats. Little bit of length added to it. As you can tell, I've been wearing it lots, including dog walks. I've really enjoyed this. It's probably a little bit more jackety than shirt. I think the fabric, I don't know, it's hard to tell because it's not winter. It feels like it might be a little bit heavy for a shirt, but yeah, I'll tell you in a few months' time. Yeah, I like the fact that it's striped on the wrong side, so you know it doesn't look like an obvious wrong side. Anyway, as I said, the review is over on the Minerva website, but because you came up with so many brilliant suggestions for alternative patterns to the Fibre Mood one, I thought I'd come on and show you. And also, it's getting a bit cold in here, so it's nice to have another layer. Sorry, train just went past. What I was about to say was I have loads planned for my week ahead because I've been buying new fabric. I've got too many ideas and not enough time. So it may be that I'm back next week, but if not, I will definitely be back in a fortnight. We will be on Clubhouse again this Sunday at 3:30 in the afternoon, so 15:30 British summertime. They are now beta testing Android. So fingers crossed it will become available for Android phones soon. But if you do have an iPhone and you do want to take part, if you get in touch with me, there are quite a few invites around now. This week's co-host is Vix McBride, who specialises in costumes, cosplay and things like dance, fitness, wrestling, sewing, or outfits. So that's going to be really interesting. So if you want to take part, we will be there. You can listen in, join in, whatever, no pressure. Everybody's welcome. Yeah, the more the merrier really. It's just nice to be able to talk sewing with people. So I may see you next week, but I will definitely see you in a fortnight. Thank you very much. Please look after yourselves, everybody. See you soon. Bye bye.